Hello, I'm Chairman Rick Irwin, and this message is intended for all Forbes members and associates. I wanted to thank you for your continued support for America's original 501c dedicated to the professional clause. It is entirely due to that incredible support that we have been able to create the greatest benefit package ever for the professional clause corps, including a national background check provided by the same firm which serves the United States Department of Defense as well as the State Department. Better still, on the strength of that background check, we not only negotiated an entertainer's insurance policy, which provides each individual Forbes member with $2 million or $4 million in professional liability protection, but we were also able to do something which nobody in the entertainment industry has ever done. Guarantee that each and every one of our members and associates is fully protected against false allegations of abuse or molestation. Just think about that for a second. No company or agency, no city or municipality, no union or fraternity has ever been able to prevent greedy and shady individuals from lying about their performers in hopes of getting a nuisance settlement to simply go away. But we do so protect our members. However, providing professional benefits is only one of three basic functions we perform as a fraternity. Through partnerships with the leading Santa schools and academies in the country, we also provide members and associates with greatest peer support and professional training available. And finally, we strive to encourage socialization among our membership in a number of ways. For example, did you know that Forbes actually began as a casual lunch date between 10 Santas in Southern California? Back in 1994, they had all been cast to appear in the same commercial for German catalog giant Otto Versand. And during the shoot, they decided to get together and do lunch after their seasons were over. That was the first annual Santa reunion, and we've kept it going for 30 years. Forbes also encourages the development of local and regional chapters as well, and urges those chapters to meet in person each month if possible. We provide the liability umbrella beneath which all of our constituent chapters meet and operate, along with any public events sanctioned by the board, like the incredible fundraiser dinners which our San Diego and Orange County chapters hold each year to provide Christmas for families with a parent unable to work because they are undergoing cancer treatments. Additionally, ever since the COVID pandemic forced us to hold our 2021 Santa reunion virtually, we've been providing chapters with access to our premium Zoom account whenever they need it, which allows them to meet in larger groups and for longer periods than would a free Zoom account. It is, in fact, those last two items which I'd like to talk to you about today. Specifically, ways in which we might use those digital resources to embrace all those hundreds of members and associates scattered across 40 states, many in towns and villages too small to support enough professional Santas to create their own Forbes chapter yet. By now, many of you have undoubtedly used Zoom or FaceTime to participate in Santa training, either via one of the excellent schools whom we wholeheartedly recommend, such as Santa Tim Cunahan's University of Santa Claus, which I believe was the original RBS school, or Santa Ed Taylor's Worldwide Santa Claus Network, or Santa Rick Rosenthal's Northern Lights Academy, or Santa Robert Suter's Christmas Performer Workshops. Every one of those titans of the Santa world have generously provided workshops, seminars, and featured presentations at a number of our annual Santa reunions. And in exchange, we have encouraged our members and chapters to support them as well whenever possible. For example, Santas of the OC, our chapter in Orange County, California, has just announced that they will be hosting a 2-day Christmas Performer Workshop event on August 12th and 13th. For another example, our San Diego Santas have their own in-house training guru in Forbes president, Santa Joe McGreevy, who has been training and mentoring Santas about as long as I've been one. As proud as we are of all of these chapters for being the local embodiment of all that Forbes stands for, we must also acknowledge that they have the blessing of geographic proximity to one another. There are hundreds of Santas in Southern California. It's not uncommon to see 40 or more at a monthly chapter meeting, and our joint chapter meetings can attract local news crews. To make it easier for scattered clauses to form a chapter and send a director to the board, we have sanctioned regional chapters such as the Central California Clause Ambassadors and the Inland Empire Santas, as well as statewide chapters like the Silver State Santas in Nevada or Santa AZ in Arizona. But that still leaves a lot of places where there either aren't enough Santas to form a local or even a regional chapter, and who might not yet feel enough confidence to form a statewide chapter. I believe technology is showing us the way forward, not only for our scattered members and associates around the country, but for our fraternity and our industry as well. That's why, with the blessings of the board, I and a couple of other Santas have decided to relaunch WinterNet. Those were the Zoom-based cyber meetings, which saw several of our chapters through the worst of the pandemic, including our only ever virtual reunion in 2021. We'd like to open up the Zoom room once or twice each month at first and invite all FORBS members and associates to join us wherever you might be. If you belong to a local or regional chapter, you can share with the rest of us how your group handles their meetings. And if you don't, then you're exactly who I hope will join us for the pilot episode of our bold new reboot, WinterNet 2023. Just as we do in our local chapter meetings, we'd like to spend some time getting to know one another. Then we'll discuss any business which needs our attention, let everyone know of any training events or other opportunities available elsewhere, in this case, online. And finally, wind things up with a bit of clause training. And as one of the few Santas that helped develop those benefits, I'll bet you a bent candy cane that you'll learn at least one thing you didn't know. If you open this video from my email, you'll find the dates and links below in that email, and you can join us for WinterNet that way. If you opened it from our social media sites or anywhere else on the internet, and you'd like to join us, drop me an email to the address on the screen, and I'll send you the links. If you're listening to this on a podcast, well, first of all, I'm sorry because you've missed out on a lot of my snappy graphics and seeing my heroically humble smile. But the email address on the screen right now is chairman@forbsantas.com. Oh, and one more thing before I go. Over the past 20 years in the Santa world, one thing I've learned is that the quickest way to find a blessing is to find a need and fill it. And another thing I've learned is that my fellow FORBS Santas and Mrs. Clauses often have skills which would serve our fraternity well, and most would be eager to share those talents if they only knew what we needed. Well, as our membership continues to grow to include folks from all over the country, perhaps our greatest need is administrators for our social networks. If you enjoy visiting our members-only groups on Facebook, or if you're familiar with Zoom, or if you have skills in graphic design or website maintenance, and you could carve out an hour or so every week to help us keep FORBS growing, then I'm asking you to please volunteer. We'll teach you all you need to know about the apps and software we use and support you every step of the way. If you'd like to see FORBS continued leading the Santa world for another 30 years, let's talk. I hope to see each of you at an upcoming WinterNet meeting. And as we say at FORBS, keep Christmas in your heart all year long. Merry Christmas.